Мы сегодня 30 августа 2011 года на борту небольшого прогулочного корабля Sea Princess, морская принцесса. Эстерка, Викочка, папа Саша. Вот мы едем, выходим из бухты. Опять мы выходим из корабля. Выходим на корабле в открытое море. Выходим из порта North East Harbor в штате Мэн. Это Acadia National Park.
So aren't we all lucky to be out here on the boat today? And you find after a hurricane, sometimes the weather shakes up a little bit. Has anybody felt the need to clean windows? Pick up sticks on their lawn? Did the heart to explore the Maine coast together? And you're going to see it was for many years a very difficult existence here, where you had to pull stumps out of the land and stones out of the soil, and that built up your arms and your back and your character. So what I'd like to do today is maybe talk a little bit about how special the Maine coast is from the exclamation point on Bear Island, yes? That's the symbol for a lighthouse. So as Chris brings us up over to Bear Island, we're going to be looking at a lighthouse, and I'm going to ask you to look at your chart again and tell me a little bit about the light, which is sort of abbreviated words on there. See if you can figure out what those words all mean.
Bear Island, Медвежий остров, Acadia State Park.
150 million years old, and the way it started was that rivers would bring sediment out here into the ocean, and they would settle on the bottom, and then the weight of all the water on top of that sediment would force water molecules out in between spaces, and eventually it got compacted one layer after another layer after another layer. The island, and if you look down there over at like 8 o'clock, you can see a slanted piece of layered rock, and that's a really wonderful lobster buoys out here on the surface of the ocean. Almost looks like Christmas. Don't they look like Christmas ornaments or light bulbs? It's really incredible. And it kind of suggests to us that lobstermen are at their busiest time right now, and they're hauling traps, and rumor has it they're catching. Don't everybody yell out the name of the bird.
Вот Эстерка с Викочкой на борту корабля.
And the summer home I wanted you to see is right to our right over here. It's sitting on top of another geologic structure called, but the house is on top of it. It's about 5 to 6 feet and over a ton. So it's a house that's been used for many, many years. Do you think it was used this summer? Over here. That's the summer home. Active or non-active? Very good, because after a year, up until about 6 years ago, and then they stopped using the nest. And it might be because one of the ospreys died, but I have to tell you, usually they stay together for life. If one member of the pair dies, that may be it too. Why is this such a great place for an osprey? What makes that sea stack such an ideal nesting spot?
I suppose they're protected and that fish bill.
Yes. It's right smack at the door of the restaurant. These birds eat fish, and they're also called fish hawks. So you can imagine how where I just took a big bite right over there at 2 o'clock. And then notice the big crevice that is sort of on a diagonal of some of those spruce trees. How effective they must be at grabbing that rock and digging down into those cracks and crevices to support 30 or 40 feet of tree. Now there's something really cool that I'm going to show you. It's coming up over at 2:30. It's called a sea arch. A sea stack and a sea arch. We've talked about the Bar Harbor series, Cadillac Mountain Granite, and Southwest Harbor Granite. So are you ready for the quiz? No? Right now, in that little finger of granite that's sort of projecting out here at the boat at 2 o'clock, when we come around the other side, and you're going to see that that house has a little porch on the front of it. So why don't we go up on that porch? I'm sure if that's the owner, he's fine. Granite at the water line, descending now by inches to the sea, marked for possession by the ruin of salt, still holds its own. Would you agree? Two competing forces in nature, the energy of the surf and the durability of the granite. House with a beautiful white veranda, that's Chris's summer home. And there's a guest house to the left, so if you're really, really nice to Chris, he might invite you out for a couple of days. In a really nice granite stone wall. And an awesome dog. Historical Museum, which is now located in that red brick building. at the Yellow House. Does everybody see the Yellow time of day when they return from a hard day's work? And you'll see everybody out on the pier, and they're putting lobster